Are we testing it?
Yeah.
I thought we were recording it.
Well, yeah, but I want to know that they can hear me.
They can definitely hear you. Trust me.
Quiet.
Well, anyways, hi, welcome back to Gay by Gay.
Oh, I hate you.
I love you.
I hate you so much. Hi.
So today, a bit of an interesting topic. Right before recording, Aaliyah and I were having an interesting discussion.
You interested? I'm not interested.
I mean, you're maybe not interested, but I thought it was interesting, so we're going to record it because it's interesting to me. Mm-hmm. So, Aaliyah, what did you just recently join?
Narcotics Anonymous, but not any groups in our city, just the 24/7 online Zoom group.
I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, well, that one's nice because it feels more anonymous, because no one has to know where I live.
Yeah, and I mean, even on Zoom, even if they see your face, it's not like they know where you live. It's not like, she must be in this general area because she's coming to this location for this meeting at this time. Like, it's especially because it's 24 hours, so you can pop in whenever you want.
Oh, yeah, of course. And it's so funny because at any given time, there's at least 30 people with their camera on, and someone's eating, someone's like might be sleeping, but they do ask that you turn your camera off if you're sleeping. Someone's watching TV. I was playing Skyrim while in the meeting last night.
Brilliant.
Well, it's because it's 24 hours, you just kind of like sit there like a radio show and listen. But if you want to share, you share. But if you don't intend to share, you just sit there and listen. And I like listening a lot because like...
Does it just like help take your mind off of stuff, or...?
It does that, but also it gives you something to relate to. Because like, I know for me, I don't have a lot of other drug addicts around me.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I think that's a very good thing.
I am very privileged in that because I don't have to give up a lot of my friends and my family.
I was going to say, it's not like you had surrounded yourself with that sort of culture. Mm-hmm. Like, I hesitate to call it that, but you know what I mean. Like, that sort of drug culture
that
where...
just simply wasn't my situation.
No, you're very lucky that you didn't fall in with the meth heads who love cheese, by the way. In case you didn't know... Quote it to my mom, meth heads love cheese. It's a running joke between all of us. So, I mean, if you ever need to know if one of your loved ones is doing meth, you just need to ask them about their love of cheese. And if they answer that they truly just love cheese, you may have a meth head on your hands and you may need to get them help.
But yeah, like...
Or you have a cheese addict. One of the two.
I'm a cheese addict.
I know you are, which is why I'm concerned. Are you a meth head, Aaliyah?
No.
You do like cheese.
Yeah,
my mom likes cheese. I hope she doesn't do meth.
I don't think your mom does meth. But
I don't know. She might.
Yeah, a lot of the people there, they come from all different walks of life. There's young and old. The first time I went in there was this pretty girl who like looked like me. This blonde girl with short hair who was like British, and I was like, you
have a girlfriend.
Me and my girlfriend, we can talk about this later, but me and my girlfriend are good about that kind of stuff. We can think other people are pretty.
That is actually a very good topic that we will be discussing at a later date. Stay tuned.
We have a good dynamic for that. But, it does help because, you know, your brain is, no matter what you do, you're still thinking about it. Especially for me right now, I'm only like just under 70 days. So you're always thinking about it. You
and I kind of talked the other day that you were having a bit of a struggle because, you know, you're saying, I'm at 60 days, I'm at almost 70 days.
I've been counting.
You're like, I'm doing really well. And everyone's like, we're so proud of you. You're doing great. And you're like, thanks.
So angry.
I hate my life.
So angry. But the people there get that. Because they've been through it.
And I think that's the really hard part, because as much as we can sit here and say, we're proud of you and blah, 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 in a weird way that doesn't make you feel any better because you're left sitting there going, you don't actually understand how bad this is. As much as you can acknowledge, well, thank you for being proud of me, you don't understand how bad this is.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me right now, it's it's harder than it would be because I'm also in therapy. I'm trying to work through feeling my emotions in general. And
bad timing.
Good timing because knock out two birds with one stone, right?
I mean, realistically, good timing in the sense that at least you're, while you're going through this, this is your vulnerable time going through therapy where you would turn to those crutches, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing, like, it's good timing in the sense of, well, at least you're not going to turn to those crutches. Yeah. And it's not like, you're going through therapy and you haven't kicked the habit, so you're falling harder into the habit to deal with the therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dealing with therapy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's good timing in that sense, but it's just really bad timing in the sense of, like, oh, hey, I'm newly going to let go of all of the crutches I've ever had to help me deal with emotional stress. And you know what I'm going to do? Stress myself out even worse than I ever have before by actually dealing with problems.
It sucks because, like, every emotion I've ever had in my life that I haven't processed just comes back.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I've been getting strategies to help do that.
Do you find that helps you not want to turn to the narcotics and everything, or is it just as hard?
I think it's just as hard. It's, for me now, there's times, like, I went through a stream of time, maybe, like, 3 or 4 days, where the impulses were super bad 24/7, and I had to just basically, right now I'm basically just treating myself like if I had my own foster kid. I'm like, okay, it's time to go eat. I gotta watch me. I gotta take myself for a goddamn walk. I just gotta take care of myself while I process everything.
It's like when you're getting one of those urges, you're like, okay, we're gonna go do something. Hey, look, some jingling keys. Go look over there. Yeah. Oh, look, some flashing lights. Let's go look at those for a while.
Now it's just like more periods. Like yesterday was one of the best days I had in a little while because
that's good.
I got a lot done. I was feeling hopeful, and then like. I swear it's like 5 minutes of hope and then it's just like right back down again. You feel like shit.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah. Even with not having a drug problem, yesterday I worked out for 20 minutes, was super happy, and I was super happy for half the day, and then all of a sudden I hit an existential crisis in the evening, and I spiraled for hours. I was awake until like 4:30 this morning because I was spiraling. It was bad.
I mean, even right now, I'm like still pre-step 1. I think step 1 has something to do with like, we're able to admit that our lives were controlled by drugs and that it had become unmanageable. I'm pre-step 1. I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I gotta stay here for a little while. I mean, the recommended thing, actually, you'd be surprised, because I read this and I was like, wait, my girlfriend actually has a lot of experience with these types of meetings because her parents were drug addicts and her mom is actually really deep into NA. And, so Alex would be like, I would talk to her about me, and she's like, oh, I can recite every single one of those because I sat in the meetings as a child reading a book because my parents were there. They do let children to some meetings.
Why?
Because sometimes the people sharing do censor themselves. But if they're a child of a drug addict, it's their reality anyways.
I guess, I don't know, like my brain fractures into 2 very different points here. Part of me says, why would you bring a child to that? Because other people are sharing their kind of like stories and that's not necessarily a good environment. And yet I also understand where you're coming from, where like that's their reality. They've seen their parents do that stuff, so it's not exactly scarring to them. I don't know. I feel 2 very different ways about that. I don't know.
But I think what motivates me the most right now when I first started going, because I've only started going for like probably a little bit under a week now, but what motivates me the most is sometimes people in their in their scream names will put their clean date in it, and there's people who've been clean since like 98,
and they're still going
to the meetings and sharing, and it's like, damn, like that's cool to me.
Is that a sense of family? Is that a sense of they still find that it's hard? Have you heard any of them kind of share their stories?
Of course.
What have they said about it? Is it the community that keeps them there, or is it that their need for help that keeps them there?
I think it's the community that keeps them there. A lot of them still say, you know what, it is still hard. But, you know, we do recover. We go through these statements, and a lot of them, I don't think I've ever heard someone who's been clean for over a decade not say, just keep coming to the meetings. Just keep going. Because the more you go, the less you are likely to turn to drugs.
In a weird way, it almost feels like you're finding other people like yourself. And in a weird way, it's giving you that community and that support that the drugs used to give you. Yeah, in a weird way. Like, I don't think people can necessarily replace drugs, but you have to realize that you need to find better and healthier solutions. So I think connecting with people is a healthier solution than doing drugs. Don't do drugs, kids.
Oh, that's what they say all the time. The opposite of
don't do drugs, kids?
No.
I'm sure they say that all the time. It's what I say all the time. I used to say it to you, and you just didn't listen to me.
Yeah. They always say the opposite of addiction is connection. So,
hey, that's actually, that's good. I like that.
I know.
That's
there's like a lot of little fun sayings. The reason why I say sharings is because the one thing that one guy said at 3 a.m. our time the other night, because I couldn't sleep, and I was just like listening to these British people sharing because it's morning over there. And
time zones.
One of the things that one gentleman said that made me really motivated to share was, if I don't share it, I wear it, and eventually if I wear it long enough, it wears me the fuck out. And I was like, yeah, me too. I've never shared before, but yeah, me too.
That's good. All right, so we're going to take a short break here, and then when we come back, we're going to delve into what your meetings actually look like on the inside.
See you soon. Hello and welcome back.
I don't know if I picked up that first part. We're gonna go with it anyway.
It's okay.
You're so excited. You're just like, yes, I want to talk about my narcotics meetings. I want to talk about it.
Sometimes they're exciting. A lot of people hate them though, because it's kind of like culty.
You mentioned that before. Okay, so what do you mean? Is it just like everyone knows the sayings and they repeat it, which makes it feel culty?
Like
or
that, well, it's like churchy because like there's basic text.
Churchy, culty, same thing, right?
It was originally founded. Yes, it was originally founded in Christianity, but now they've moved away from it, and it's like how higher power as you see it.
Well, I think it's just kind of one of those things where not just Christians are addicts.
Yeah,
so it kind of makes sense to do it more generally.
Well, they don't really care. Like, if they don't care. You believe in God. You believe in fate. Who cares?
It's just, find something to hold on to.
Yeah. You want to hear the 12 steps? Because they're different than AA. They're very different than AA. They have a statement of clarity on why they're different than AA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the top of the, because every 3 hours they switch hosts because they go on shifts because they're volunteers.
That makes sense.
They're people who are part of NA, like, not even, like, so, like, not normal people coming in, but previous addicts.
Well, I mean, they have the most experience, and they, out of everyone, would understand why it's necessary, and so may feel the need to give back to the community. That just kind of makes sense to me.
And it's really nice. A lot of them, when they share, are so awesome. I love them. The hosts, they're so nice. They work for like 3-hour shifts. And there's like 8 different hosts within the 24-hour period, stuff like that. At the top of each 3-hour shift, though, they go through all of the opening readings that they're supposed to do, and that's the statement of clarity, the Serenity Prayer, the what else, the who are we, or who is an addict, or stuff like that. I have them almost memorized at this point because I've just
and it's only been a week. It's only been a week. Oh no.
Alex still recites stuff to me. I'm like, how the heck can you do that? You weren't even in it. Okay, step 1. We admitted we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. You see, when I first read that, and I didn't even, like, think I had, like, a real drug problem, I was like, no, but I was still doing stuff.
As you said, you're kind of pre-step 1, where you're hesitating, you're in the doorway, and you're like, I see that you may have a point with that statement, but I'm not really ready to, like,
I don't think I'll start steps until I join a group here and get a
right now, I think this first step to you looks more like climbing a mountain.
Yeah, well, every step looks like climbing a gosh darn mountain.
Yeah, but I think in this case, this mountain looks more like the microplane of a cheese grater, and you're like, I don't want to go up there. Well, it's going to hurt if I go up there.
We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Kind of culty.
Yeah.
That's step 2.
I think if they insisted that everyone believe in the same power, that would feel a lot more culty. But I do see where that.
Yeah,
I can see the root in the Christian faith there.
There is definitely a root. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him.
God, fate, the devil, whoever you need.
Through it more so, it's like, because you're dealing. It's not the drugs that are the problem. It's the unhealthy coping. It's the feelings that you're shoving down.
I was going to say, it's the running away from the problems and using this as a crutch. It's acknowledging that this is a crutch, but this crutch has suddenly taken over your life, where before you used it to kind of run away from things, now your crutch is becoming your entire life, and you find yourself doing things specifically to get back to it, and that's unhealthy.
Because a lot of people, when they share, are, especially the people who have been clean for some time, are always like, you think it's the drugs that are the problem. If you just took the drugs out of the equation, you'd be fine. It's not. That's not how it is at all.
It's whatever you're running from. It's using them as a coping mechanism. It's you've been running from it so long, you don't know how to deal with it, and you've never developed other ways. And I think that's the thing that drugs stop, right? Where other people find ways to cope with things. And I'm going to be honest, you know, not everyone has a healthy way of doing it. Some people turn to binge eating. Some people turn to, like me, restriction of food as a way of taking control. Some people don't sleep. Some people choose to sleep all the time. You see it as depression. You see it as, you know, a lot of different things. And I think that's why therapy is so necessary for so many people. It's because almost as humans, we don't know how to cope, and we almost always find a bad thing first, because I feel like we're first hit with a lot of traumatic experiences when we're younger, when we don't actually have any way of coping. But I definitely think that, you know, it's something that you fall into, and I just think...
I think that step 3 is more of a... I acknowledge that I don't have control over things that I can't control.
Exactly.
You know? And that's a big thing.
That's hard for anybody.
So, step 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves.
What?
It means that you think about the people you've wronged and you say that was wrong.
So, do you mean wronged in a sense of clearing your conscience of all guilt, or do you mean wronged in a sense of my drug habit has affected other people? Is it like
I'm not sure.
Is it taking stock within like your addiction, or is it taking stock within your life?
I don't know. I think it's more of an addiction standpoint. I mean, for a lot of people out there, their addiction was their life.
I guess that's fair.
A lot of people out there weren't in my situation where they did steal, lie, cheat for drugs.
Yeah.
A lot of people have hurt family, have hurt their children. I hear all the time, oh, I'm in this sober living facility and I need to do this, this, and this, and I really want to do this because I want to go see my kids.
That's,
you know what I mean?
You're very lucky that you aren't in that situation, that you're getting help early.
Young. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the good parts, you know?
Yeah.
Step 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. I did this. I'm not going to keep it in here anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes that shit...
I'm not going to keep bottling. I'm actually going to talk and start to cope. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Coping.
Step 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character.
I mean, God, another person, you yourself, it's the higher power. Again, that's the Christian root there, but I think I understand where it's coming from.
We humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. It's more just like accepting that you did wrong.
So wait, I can ask God for a new nose.
Shut up.
Remove my shortcomings.
No. You mean long comings?
Shut up.
I love you. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm triggered now, and I need to go restrict for the next 7 years.
No, asshole.
I just need to stop eating now. Excuse me. Maybe that'll make my nose shrink.
You can't make a joke like that. That's not right.
Yes, I can. It's my own issue. If you can't laugh at your own problems, yeah, I have problems. I use humor to cope.
Step 8. We made a list of all the persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all.
That's an important one. I see why that one's really far down. That's an important one.
I think that a lot of people I've heard relapse at this step because it's hard.
It's really hard to admit that you've wronged somebody and then admitting that to yourself, let alone to somebody else. I mean, I can see where that would drive you right back to doing what you were doing, because it's hard to cope knowing that you've hurt somebody and having to acknowledge that and admit that and talk about that. I can see why that's a relapse step.
If you relapse, you're all the way back at step 1, though.
Oh. Keep climbing, guys. Keep climbing. Gauntlet, I know you're on the side of the cheese grater. Just keep climbing. Don't slide down the cheese grater. It's going to hurt a lot more.
Step 9. We made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. You have to go talk to them.
What does it mean when it says unless it would harm them or others?
I don't know.
Do they mean maybe like if someone's cut you out, you can't just go and pester them and go, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. Step 10. We continued to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it.
That's good. Acknowledging when you've made mistakes, that's healthy. That's coping.
Step 11. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out.
I think that can also be not just praying to God, but I think that can be...
It's the meditation part, too.
It's self-reflection, ultimately. You know what I mean? It's that self-reflection and being able to just come to a place of peace.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big part. Because if you have no peace and your first thing to go to is drugs, it's so much harder.
You need to find that peace of mind, because I think the lack of peace of mind is why people turn to a lot of drugs in the first place, because they're seeking that oblivion.
Yeah.
So I think I don't want to say find oblivion within yourself. I mean, that's what my personal hellscape looks like, but everyone's hellscape is different, okay?
Step 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
So step 12 is very much that sort of join the cult.
Yeah.
Join the cult. You are now a cult leader.
I mean, listen, I would say it's kind of culty, but it's not damaging.
No, it's a healthy cult.
It's restorative.
It's not like the Manson cult, okay? That's an unhealthy cult. This is a healthy cult.
It's a community.
Yeah, healthy cult community, right? Right.
Same thing.
Exactly.
But,
But these steps are very different from AA. I feel like a lot of people, because AA is so kind of widely known.
There's also a change in language. We are not alcoholics. We are addicts. We are not in sobriety. We are clean. There's different terminology. There's different texts.
I think a lot of that goes back to admitting that you have a problem with drugs. It's really easy to say, "Oh, I'm sober," but that's not the right language.
Yeah.
That's almost you kind of avoiding how severe the problem is. Because I think anyone admitting that, "Oh, I'm clean," sounds a lot worse in some ways than, "Oh, I'm sober."
I should add the first thing that you read in the thingy is it's free, no dues are paid, no bills, anything. Anyone can be a member as long as you have the desire to stop using. The program is a no substance program at all, so that means no alcohol, no weed. They accept cigarettes, but they discourage them. They used to allow cigarettes in the meetings until, like, I don't know, early 2000s, and then they stopped that.
I think it's discouraging any form of addiction, right?
Because if you're still relying on something, then you can't get it all out.
Ultimately, I think it's too easy. Even if you're relying on something like cigarettes, I think it's too easy to fall back into other habits.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, to your addict brain, you're almost already giving it something, and so it's a little bit too easy to go, well, you've already gone this far, why don't you just go a little bit farther?
Because it's so easy. Like, brains are slippery slopes.
And that's the real problem.
Every part of your brain tries to convince you that you should do drugs. That's the hardest part.
But you know what? Gosh. Not only have you started getting clean for yourself, but now going to these meetings, I think they're going to be very helpful.
I think so. I like it.
And I mean,
I'm good at this.
Weirdly enough, I think the steps are very major because you can acknowledge to yourself when you're ready to take a new step and when you're not. And I think that shows you what exactly you're struggling with and what step you need to take next in order to get past that next hurdle.
Usually people, if they're working the steps, they do have a sponsor, which is not a money thing. It sounds like it, but it's not. It's just another addict who has been clean longer than you have, who have worked the steps you're on, and who kind of help you through it.
I feel like that's almost more of like a mentor than a sponsor.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But,
But no, very good for you. Thanks. I think this is very good moving forward. And you know what? I'm sure there are a lot of people out. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that can probably relate to this. And you know, if you need help, who knows? Maybe you're going to see Leah at some of these meetings if you go to the 24-hour ones.
Don't say that. It's called Anonymous for a reason.
Yeah, well.
But you can find any of these 24-hour meetings in all kinds of languages at virtual dash, it's called a dash, na.maybe.org, maybe com, figure it out.
Brilliant.
I don't know. But you can find a lot of NA meetings in your area.
I'll put it in the description.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But yeah, try it out if you want.
Honestly, there's no shame in admitting that you need help with something. I don't think this is something you should ever try to do on your own.
Yeah.
I think this is absolutely something. Reach out. Get the community. Yeah. Get what you actually need. And why are you going to punish yourself and make it harder going, oh, I did this to myself? You know what? There's a million other people out there who are just like you.
Yeah.
Who are willing to reach out and help you. Instead of struggling to do this on your own. This is already a monumental thing.
Yeah.
Get the help you need.
Yeah. If you're looking at doing the Zoom call, like one of the 24-hour ones, don't worry. As soon as you come in, you're not acknowledged right away. So if you're shy, they're not going to talk to you.
No, don't feel the pressure, because I know there's a lot of social anxiety.
I felt that when I first went in. I was like, are they going to say my name when I first go in? They don't. So,
well, I mean, as you pointed out to me, it is anonymous.
Yeah, it is anonymous.
But no.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they want you to thank God in many different steps, but, you know.
Yeah.
Thank the higher power.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think Hades and Hecate.
That's okay.
They rule my life.
Dude, you could talk about that in a meeting and they'd be like, huh, cool. Like, they don't care.
Probably. That's when I turn to my witchcraft circle, but the reality is there's no other witches in the coven. It's just me and a whole bunch of demons who rule my hellscape.
Exactly.
Whatever you need to cope, guys. All right, that's it. Thank you very much for listening.
Bye, guys. Take it gay by gay.
Bye.